Greetings and hello. Welcome to my channel and/or welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, that bell notification, so you get all the notifications when I post a video and/or go live. So, if you're not on the Tickety Talk app, then this may not make sense. If you watch my live from yesterday, it will. But a comment was made on that video that I made about how we have to stop putting witches together with paganism and/or Wicca, which was amazing comment, which was basically from the original person that I was talking to with this, which was, this is deeper than a 60-second video, and you are 100% correct. Not that I don't think you'll ever see this. So basically, a conversation has been started, and it's a good conversation as long as we keep it on track, because it's growth and expansion, and when it comes to witchcraft, we desperately need that. So it all started with deity work. I'm not touching on that because I don't really consider myself deity working, or really, I work with two deities, but that's it. Anyways, not the point. So the original video that I made, and I probably will post it on shorts if y'all would like to see that, it basically stated that we needed to stop grouping witches in with paganism and Wicca. And in that conversation, somebody responded to that video. I love it because it blew my mind, and actually it made me feel some type of way, which was a mutual of mine had a person reach out to them to get a reading. And before the reading, they were like, well, wait, before we do this, what is your question? The question basically was, well, I need to know what path I can choose. And there's only two. And he's like, wait, whoa, stop. What do you mean there's only two? And she goes, Wicca and paganism. Those are the only two open practices. And that's due to the misinformation that has been spread on Witch Talk. Now, with that being said, I understand people use Witch Talk, and not all the practitioners that use that hashtag are the same. I'm not trying to do that, and I'm not trying to group them together. But the point of my video was, for one, I do not consider myself pagan at all. There's nothing wrong with considering yourself pagan. There's nothing wrong with being pagan. But the problem is, pagan is an umbrella term. Paganism is an umbrella term. And there are practices. For one, witchcraft in general is separate from paganism and/or Wicca. Okay? And you can do your own research outside of that. It's always been separate, but it's one of those slightly confusing things to where you can be a witch and not be pagan. You can be a pagan and not practice witchcraft whatsoever. Now, with Wicca, I don't think you really could, because Wicca is an actual magical religion, depending on the path that you are chosen. Not that I'm an expert on any of this, it's just my experience. But with that being said, there are a huge amount of paths that technically do not fall under the lines of paganism and/or Wicca that are fully open. Southern Conjure. And if you come here to argue with me about Southern Conjure, then you can just go the other way, because I've done my extensive amount of research. I've asked people from certain traditions and certain paths, is it actually okay for me to practice this? Now, of course, if you've been following me for a while, you also know that I'm about to say Appalachian folk magic. Appalachian folk magic does not fall under the terms of paganism. Why? Because, well, that's complicated, but not all, but some Appalachian folk practitioners still believe in Christ and still believe in God and use the Holy Bible. There's nothing wrong with that. Christian witch. A Christian witch theoretically does not fall under the terms of paganism. Folk magic in general, Dutch magic. There are so many different paths that are fully open and do not fall under the terms of paganism and/or Wicca. Now, with that also being said, I did make a statement in that video that kind of was taken out of context, and I did not explain myself well enough because it was a 60-second video, which was, a lot of people that do not consider themselves pagan do not like the idea of sacrifice. It was also brought up to my attention, and I should have fully thought that through before I said that, sacrifice can be a number one of things. Now, of course, I've said before that the way that people are treating their deities, I don't understand it, because these are deities that back then, they did sacrifice animals, or not really humans, but they did do some type of sacrifice. They were feared and loved at the same time. And now you have people, and sorry if y'all hear cats, I have cats right outside where I film. you have people that are treating these deities, calling them daddy, and they're taking this sacredness and I don't like to use the term holiness, but honestly, the holiness, the divine away. And that's for another video in general. But I do understand the term sacrifice. Me burning this culinary sage right now, that's sad that I have to actually verify what that type of sage is. That's one of the things that we also need to address as well. Not the whole sage thing, but the fact that if you are a content creator when it comes to witchcraft, you have to filter yourself so fucking much because one term out of order, you can get canceled. And cancel culture does not belong in spirituality and or witchcraft. But with that being said, we have to realize that there are people that are being called to the craft that have absolutely no idea how it's actually like besides the preconceived notions that they have picked up either through family members, through the media, and or through the fucking app. Tickety Talk app. So that's what I've meant. And I've been saying this since I started. If you are a content creator that labels themselves as a magical practitioner and or a witch, it is in your responsibility to make sure you know what you're posting. What do I mean by that? When you go online and say that you are a witch, you are not representing yourself. You are representing every other creator out there that is also a witch and or a pagan. What do I mean by that? People outside of the magical world, and I know that sounds weird, and I know a lot of people will not like that terminology. I don't care. People that do not, we'll say the mundane world, they do not fully understand this. So if they see one creator with 12 million followers, they're going to take every single thing that creator says wholeheartedly. While in reality, anything you see on Witch Talk, until you do your research, you take with a grain of salt. Even from my content, you take it with a grain of salt. Because I am not an expert. I've never claimed to be an expert. There's no way you can be an expert when it comes to witchcraft and or that unless you yourself have created your own specific magical path. Death witchery. It's open, aka necromancy. That's more complicated too, so again, kind of an umbrella term. But basically, short term with that, a lot of people who are necromancers no longer use that term due to the fucking stigma, due to books and pop culture and all the horrible movies that have been made about necromancers to make them look evil. So a newer term is Death Witch. There are so many other magical paths that are not closed. With that being said, if you do come across my video and you are looking to find a magical path, do not use TikTok. Do not use Google. Use DuckDuckGo. Use Bing. Use some other alternative web browser. Why am I saying this? Because Google is heavily filtered and it will pull up some dumb shit. On top of that, you have YouTube videos now. You have podcasts now. With the podcast, please make sure it's kind of like check the person who does that podcast out. If you come across videos or stuff like that and some of the information sounds like it came directly from the Google page, more than likely it has. What do I mean by that? There are other people that have popped up in our community and they have portrayed to be this all-knowing, amazing practitioner when in reality, they were getting everything they were talking about off of Google. That's not how witchcraft works. If you do not like the fact that you are going to have to do research, hours and days and weeks upon research, and then cross-check that, and then double fact-check that, then I'm sorry, witchcraft may not be for you. Now, with that being said, if you are drawn to witchcraft, you do not have to connect that with a pagan origin and or a pagan pantheon. Okay, what do I mean by that? You do not have to work with gods and goddesses. Your magic does not come from gods and goddesses. It comes from inside. It comes from us. I'm not even going to say it comes from our ancestors. It comes from us. We are literally made of star. We are literally made of stardust. Everything that is in the universe right now, the beginning, all the small particles are in us in some way, shape, or form. We are literally made of the stars. So, with that being said, biggest question, where do I begin? That's also a complicated question. Seriously, it is. I'm not trying to just, like, gatekeep. I hate that term. We're going to talk about that, too. But in general, what I mean by that is you have to do your research. And two, I'm pretty sure the way the video was made, and this is the reason that TikTok is great and dangerous at the same time. Because unless you specifically word everything properly, so many people can take what you've said and construe it all over the place. Now, with that being said, if you were part of my community and you jumped in that specific Discord and started hating on that person, we need to talk, because that's not okay, and I never encourage that at all. And I also formally wanted to apologize if I have to and if it fits, because I did not want to cause anything to make a creator step away from their platform. That was not the intention of that. And if you've ever followed me, you know that I start questions, and I even said that in the video that I was not trying to cause drama. I like starting or asking questions that starts conversations, because if we don't have conversations, not arguments, but conversations, then a lot of the times we're not going to go anywhere. In order for witchcraft, it's just like I always say with Appalachian folk magic, the reason you are seeing a higher presence of it right now is because most of those people came to realize that the younger generations were not carrying these traditions on. So they came to one of those crossroads in life. We either get this on paper, we either get this out in books, and we bring it to the world, or it's going to fucking die. Witchcraft, paganism, and everything in between that combines is the exact same thing. If we do not talk about it, if we do not educate ourselves, and if we do not expand ourselves, then we're all putting ourselves in boxes. And witch talk, no offense, you've already done that. You're only using spell jars, you're using the same lemon hexes, you're using the same shit over and over and over again. I demonstrated in a video how to do something very easily by walking outside, grabbing Spanish moss, a couple of sticks, some mistletoe, and another thing, and literally bam, spell. So, I hope that clears it up. If y'all thought I was going to go into a philosophical conversation, y'all should have thought otherwise. But I'm pretty sure I got my point across. Paganism it's such a fucking layered term, it's not even funny. But all I was trying to say are there are witches that do not consider themselves pagan. And that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay if you are Wicca. In fact, I actually encourage beginner witches to at least try a year with Wicca due to the fact of how structured it is. And in witchcraft, for beginners, you need structure. Because if not, you're just going to go all over the place. Why do you think a lot of witches started out Wicca? And now we're wherever we are now. So, with that being said, hi, hello, thank you for sticking around. Also, thank you all for helping me break 400. My ultimate goal this year is to reach 1,000, and I will do it. So, with that being said, there will be hopefully a couple of other videos uploaded today. I may go live on here, I'm not for sure, but I did want to keep this short. So, yeah, that's where I have to stand on this. If I have to, I will make a deeper, in-depth more video. And sorry if the lighting's a little bit weird. The sun's still rising right now. It's like fucking, I think it's like 7 o'clock. But anyways, until then, I love you all. Welcome to the Lotus Hollow. Welcome to the Lotus family. And yeah, I hope I got my point across. Peace.